First and foremost, I do hold a sizable position in NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA. NVIDIA is a premier United States chip maker with a total addressable market of over 100 trillion and a TAM directly that they believe they can get is 1 trillion. Today I'm going over the news and I see that there's a possible bill that's going to be approved that's going to fund American chip makers. Great. But the most interesting thing about the news that I'm reading is that Nancy Pelosi's husband invested in these chip makers before the actual bill is passed. Now, this is not the first time Nancy Pelosi is in the news and not the first time that Nancy Pelosi's husband is buying something right before there's about to be positive legislation for the stock companies that he's actually buying. It's pretty interesting what's happening. So some people are literally buying directly what Nancy Pelosi's husband is buying, what Nancy Pelosi is buying. Now, there's no issue here and there's no conflict of issue when it comes to legality, but something here is definitely fishy, if you know what I mean. This story broke last week. It says Nancy Pelosi's husband buy millions in computer chip stock before the big subsidiary vote. This came out on July 16th. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband purchased up to $5 million in stock options on computer chip companies ahead of a vote on legislation next week, which would be this week. That would deliver billions of dollars in subsidiaries to boost the chip manufacturing industry, in new financial disclosures show. Paul Pelosi purchased on June 17th 20,000 shares of NVIDIA, a top semiconductor company worth between $1 million and $5 million. Senators are expected to convene as early as Tuesday to vote on the bipartisan competition bill to set aside $52 billion to boost domestic semiconductor manufacturing and give tax credits for production, Reuters reported. And I quote, "It certainly raises the specter that Paul Pelosi could have access to some insider legislative information." Craig Holman, a government affairs lobbyist for the left-wing think tank Public Citizen, told the Daily Seller News Foundation, and I quote, "This is the reason why there is stock trading apps that exclusively monitors Paul's trading activity, and then its followers do likewise." I don't know about you, but I love the company of NVIDIA. I love United States chip makers, and the investment in chip makers in the United States makes us a global power in chip production. This way we don't have to rely on outside countries for our semiconductor chips. All in all, I do like the bill to support these companies, especially because one of my largest holdings is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a monster company that got absolutely wrecked like other NASDAQ companies. The fact that there's going to be a bill that's going to be passed, possibly even tomorrow, that's going to boost the profits of NVIDIA and boost research and development of not only NVIDIA, but other American semiconductor companies sounds good for me and sounds good for America in the long term. However, it's very interesting that Paul Pelosi is buying shares in these stocks before the legislation passes. I wonder if the legislation is actually going to pass. The answer is pretty freaking obviously yes, it is going to pass, and that's why he's buying beforehand. And as I read, that is why people literally doing trades directly as Paul Pelosi. It's funny, they should probably make an ETF that tracks Paul Pelosi's trades. I wonder if there is such an ETF or not. Guys, happy trading. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.